Carbon footprint is the total number of greenhouse gases. By the way, I've discussed greenhouse gases in one of my videos, right? So it's the total number of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, that is produced from an activity, a person, it can be a company, it can be a product, which is measured in carbon equivalent, covering direct emission like driving your car, or indirect emission like the use of electricity or water, which covers a product across its life cycle. Now, and remember in our discussion when we greenhouse gases, we said that each and every one of us is contributing to the problem. So when you drive your car, it means that you've created a footprint of carbon. When you generate food waste that goes to the landfill, then you have created a carbon footprint, because what that is going to do is also going to generate methane gas, not carbon dioxide, but methane gas, But it could also be in an indirect effect, in the sense that the food may be processed, so energy is used to process that. So that could also be carbon dioxide. Now, what is important here is that we need to be mindful of the carbon footprint that we create, whether direct or indirect, and take conscious effort to cut down on our carbon footprint. For example, if you know that, okay, I've driven throughout the week, the question you ask yourself is, what have you done to cut down that carbon footprint? Remember, the climate change problem is caused by the carbon footprint that you are generating. Obviously, we cannot completely stop it, but we can do a lot to cut down the quantity. So I'm going to share some practical steps that you can take in order to be able to cut down on your carbon footprint, and I will say that we all need to be moral and ethical when it comes to cutting down our carbon footprint, because it's very important for environmental protection. The first is being energy efficient. You can replace incandescent light bulbs to LEDs, and you can save up to 90% of energy consumption related to lighting. You can improve insulation to make sure that whether you are heating or cooling, that is contained. This helps to be able to kick off your thermostat, because if the energy is leaking, then your thermostat will never kick off, and your equipment, whether HVAC system or whatever the equipment is, will always keep running, right? We can use variable speed drives or variable frequency drives to make sure that when the load is less, the drive can control by reducing the energy consumption. We can also look at unplugging electronic devices when they are not in use. That includes our TVs, our microwaves, our, sound systems, and so on and so forth. Because when you leave them plugged on, though you may not be using them, what they do is that they take some amount of energy. And of course, also being conscious of just putting electronic gadgets when you are not really using them, right? We can also consider renewable sources of energy like solar. Now, in terms of transport, we can try to drive less and walk more. You exercise, and then you also save money. That's the beauty of cutting down your carbon footprint, because when you do that, you also save money. Your power bills will come down, your vehicle maintenance costs will come down. We can fly less, we can do carpooling with our friends to work rather than driving behind each other. We can cycle, we can, use public transport, and so on and so forth. We can also look at our diet. If we consume more vegetarian or vegetables compared to animal products, then that has also shown in terms of research that plant diet contribute less carbon emission compared to animal product, right? Red meat is more or less methane, and to a large extent that can cut down our carbon footprint. Then we can also look at consumption. In terms of fashion, if we can, especially the ladies, if we can control the fashion, everything we want to buy, at the end of the day, also lead to more greenhouse gas emission, because manufacturers have to produce more to meet your demand. And if you can also choose quality products that can last long, we can learn to take care of our things. It can be clothing, it can be vehicles, it can be electronic gadgets. If we can take care of them, if we can repair them when they get damaged rather than just throwing them away and going for new ones, then by doing that, then we also contribute significantly to reducing the level of greenhouse gases. If you don't like something, don't throw it away. That may be someone's Christmas dress or present, so you can give it out. The last option that I want to discuss today is carbon credit, and this is usually corporate. So those companies that want to demonstrate environmental commitment down their carbon footprint, they also buy carbon credits, which are used for environmental projects. This also is seen as another way of cutting down your carbon footprint. And the airliners, they do that a lot. They buy these carbon credits, to demonstrate environmental commitment. So that is it for carbon footprint. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section, and I'll be ready to clarify all your queries. And don't forget to subscribe